every time I write a book, I'm surprised, and in particular, learning history is always surprising because you learn physics in kind of a logical order, and what's worked. It's sort of it's always the story of history that the victors write the history, and it's true for science as well, that the successful ideas are the ones you learn about. But when you actually try and understand the real history of how things worked, it's much more complicated. The red herrings that people go through, the fact that so many times people came so close to the right answer but didn't realize they were there, that focusing on one force was actually the way to explain another force. That with hindsight, it's really easy to understand that, but to understand that human story is really so exciting because new ideas come forth, and I think people learn that science is a communal enterprise. It's not just done by one or two people, and often things are done by baby steps, and you can learn a lot from the wrong way of understanding things to realize how we finally got here. And I think the other thing that I really was new for me, whenever I try and explain something, of course, I have to understand it in a new way when I'm trying to explain it in a popular language, and that's often a great challenge, but also a learning experience. And one of the central ideas I wanted to talk about was the fact that the second half of the 20th century was really one of the most revolutionary periods in science that we know of, and in physics, even though we think of the first half with quantum mechanics and relativity as being important, the second half changed our perspective of where we are, and the ideas of symmetries of nature are so important. And that's a really esoteric notion, and particularly one type of symmetry called a gauge symmetry is really hard to explain, but it's central to our current understanding of all physical theories. And in thinking about a new way to describe it, which I'm very proud of and is in the book, I realized that new analogy allowed me to think of gauge symmetry in new ways, so I could have predicted results that I couldn't have thought of otherwise mathematically with this picture. So I'm very happy that in some sense, I learned something from that as well.